All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the brick wall. And to speed things up, instead of filling in 800 by 800, I'm going to fill in 800 by 400 because this is a lot of busy work. So I'm going to cut my work in half, but it's not going to cut any of the instruction down even just a little bit. It's not going to cut out anything at all. It's just going to save you all a lot of trouble, or not trouble, but time watching me do the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay, so the thing with bricks is really we pretty much already, if we go back, pardon me, to some of the textures that we've already had, if I don't die first, we pretty much know how to do the textures probably already just from some of the other techniques we've used. So what we're going to do is, to make this look, brick to look like brick, we need to create the lines. That's what makes brick different than just regular rock. So I'm going to turn my ruler on, and let's see here. It's 400. Let's see. I'll go with, let's see, 400 deep. I'll go with 80. So that'll give me however many rows. Let's see here. My Y should be set to 80, and X should be set to 0. There we go. All right. For some reason, that's still not going out to the edges. So we'll just keep on going now. So that was 80. The next one will be 160. The next one will be 240. And then 320. Okay. So that is the gaps between the bricks going horizontally. Now we need the gaps going between the bricks vertically. I'm going to create that on a new layer. Trust me on this one. And that's going to be 160. Back to info, that keeps disappearing on me. So the bricks will be twice as wide as they are tall. So 160, then 320. And 480. Fun with math. My teacher said I would never use multiplication. I mean, I told my teachers I'd never need multiplication. Careful what you wish for. 480 and then 640. Yep. All right. Choose your words carefully. You may have to eat them later, as my teachers found out. All right. The next thing I need to do is offset these lines. Oops, let me get a guide here. Bring this guide into, that's close enough, to 80. And we're going to bring these lines, these vertical lines, the move tool, to line up with that. Now you'll notice over here we've got a problem. So I'm going to bring in another line to, let's see, that would be 720, I think. And I'm going to hit Control J to dupe that layer and bring them back so that these lines line up over there. All right. And the next thing I want to do is, I know that I've got some pixels not showing up, so I'm going to go back to my crop tool and just hit enter without resizing. Whoa, what are you doing? And then just double clicking inside there. Okay, and then I'm going to go to view, clear guides. All right, so there's the brick. Now, have you ever seen brick that neat? Well, actually, I'll take that back. That in itself is pretty good for for brick, but every once in a while, I'm going to go ahead and merge these, by the way. Every once in a while, like if you go outside my house, the houses on my street, you know, we kind of have a rougher brick just to kind of give it more of a rustic country feel. So the bricks aren't nearly this level. So what you might want to do is you might want to go to filter. You could go several different ways here. You could go liquefy. Whatever you do, just make sure. Well, I don't know if it's working or not. Well, that was thrilling to no end. Oh, and I started to say, remind me, we need some lines up here as well. I'll get to those in just a minute. No, I'll just forget them. I need, let's see, these lines were 8 inches, so I need 4 inches at the top and the bottom here. And I just made a 4 pixel wide line there at the top. I'm going to dupe that layer, bring it to the bottom. And trust me, I've done this enough times, and I know what happens next, so I know what to do next. And then we're going to create a new layer here. Bring that to the side. But what I'm going to do is, for these bricks that are repeating over to the other edge, I'm going to get rid of that part of the line there. Bring this over here. And again, I'm just nudging with the arrow keys on my keyboard. All right. So yes, that is how you want to get your bricks set up. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if it tiles. Does it tile seamlessly? Drum roll, please. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed by that. There we go. Slight problem. Totally forgot about this. You need to not have your bottom and top rows lined up. That was actually 2 mistakes on my part, a math mistake and a process mistake. Sorry about that. Easily fixed, though, because all I need to do is come back to here and crop out that bottom row of bricks. So, embarrassing. Let's go ahead and do that again. That's why it's good to do it at this, there we go. Come here. There we go. Bricks. All right, that's the hardest part right there. Everything else you pretty much already know, but let's just go ahead and get through that as well. Now that we've got our bricks built, though, now it's time to actually the gaps between the bricks, the mortar, I think it's called, and that's not even the mortar, that's just dividing lines for where the mortar line is going to go. That's kind of a mask. Let's go ahead and fill in some brick. Let's actually build the brick substance itself. So we'll go with a nice set of clouds. We'll go with a nice set of difference clouds, which are way too dark. So I'll just do that again. Don't know why they're being so dark. And then stylize, emboss. Well, that's lovely. There we go. So that's a little bit of the brick there. So starting to get into that. I'm going to create a new layer. And my computer goes crazy. Put in some medium gray here. Clouds again. That was embossed. Never mind. No wonder nothing's happening. Render clouds this time, and then some noise. And then we're going to do dust and scratches. And we're going to put this on overlay as well to kind of roughen things up. We might even want to, this might be a little bit overkill, but let's just try emboss on that as well. No, that looks quite nice actually. Just want to dial back the height. There we go. To about 4. I should probably dial back the amount is what we need. There we go. So there's that. And the next thing we need is a color layer. And we can just pick any color you want. What I personally recommend doing is just looking at the bricks out in my house, on the outside of my house. There are 2 different colors. There's a kind of a dark red. Oops, let's try that again. And then there's an even darker red. So I'm just going to do render clouds, and then render hello, difference clouds, and then again I'm going to turn this to color. Actually, we can do a little bit better than that. Let's do either overlay or multiply. Multiply negative. Let's do overlay again. Something like that. Keep wanting to bring down the opacity. But yeah, a little bit something like that. So there is our brick. Now what we could do is, while we're at it, go up to filter. Oops, I need to go back down to here. There was one that you might want to also try. Filter gallery, and where'd it go? Well, actually, I tell you what, splatter was working pretty decent there. Let's just go splatter. Yeah. So, and really, there's like 15 different things you could, other things you could try, depending on what kind of brick that, you're looking to make. This is a very rough brick that I'm going for. All right. Now, this is very even very straight cut brick here. Real brick is not like that, at least on the outside of my house. Um, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a duplicate copy of it. I'm going to hide the original, and this is the one I'm going to rough up. This is what I tried doing before, um, but for some reason Liquify was not working. Worst comes to worst, smudge tool. You just kind of go in here and start smudging away. The trick is, do not ever get to the edges when you're doing this. Otherwise, it will not tile. Well, I mean, it'll tile it, but it'll create seams when it does. So notice I'm staying well away from for some reason it's not letting me go up there. Weirdness, weirdness, weirdness. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the last video. This Photoshop is losing its mind. I can't afford that because I've lost my mind as well. Alright, so there's some really rough bricks. Cool? Cool. Okay. And if we want really smooth bricks, we've always got the original. Alright, but there is some very rough bricks. You could actually use this for a fantasy medieval type thing too. This looks like the inside of an evil castle or something like that. But you would obviously take the walls and get rid of the color. But anywho, what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the background and my three layers below, my three bottom layers. I'm going to do Shift Option Command E to get a composite layer there. That's the sum of all of these combined. So I'll just call this rough red brick. I'm going to hold the Command key down, click on the rough brick layer, turn the rough brick layer's visibility off, make sure I've got rough red brick selected, invert my selection like I always forget to do, and then I'm going to hit Control J. And this is basically the same technique that we used on, well, I forgot which other texture it was, but now I have got these rough red bricks by themselves and nothing in there for the gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, you guessed it, Bevel and Emboss. And 135. And we're also going to do a drop shadow as well. And I'm going to create a new layer underneath this layer. Fill it with kind of a light gray. Now you can see the what I call it, the mortar between the bricks. And of course, if you've ever looked at that, and of course it's very easy to do, you just go outside and look at a brick wall. Filter, noise, add noise, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, maybe 0.5 on that, maybe even 0.25. There we go. I want to lighten this up just a bit. There it is. And if I had done the same thing with the straight non-smudged lines there, we could have made this into a much smoother brick. One thing I do want to point out, though, the flaw to this is go ahead and save, and I'm going to export this, and you probably saw it coming as well. When you do this, ooh, I'm getting a bad tile. Oh, that's from that bevel and emboss. All right, I'll have to go back in and fix that. Yeah, well, easily fixed. But the other thing I want to point to you is you're going to have one row out of every one, two, three, four, out of every four, you know, right? That makes sense mathematically. That is not warped. But no one's going to notice that unless they're not watching what they're doing in your game. But what they are going to notice is this bevel and emboss. So I'll take that out here in just a second. But in the meantime, there's a handy dandy easy brick wall.